is an introduction to conservation and diversity, or biodiversity, BIOS 2200. And I am Dr. Carter. I am teaching this course, and I also teach ecology for the 21st century, and I teach a few other topics. This particular course is the first time I've taught that, but I'm following a format that has been successful in teaching this course at OU. We are using Packback, and we are centering a lot of the learning around conversations that you are very much a part of, because in reading through the chapters, you are tasked with writing questions for other students to answer, and then you, of course, will have to answer some questions. And your questions are graded based on the quality of the question, which is great. I think that's a great way to learn. And I recall some very wise men have once said that the best way to learn is to ask questions. And that's something that has now been brought into education as a good means of learning a topic. So that is a lot of what you're doing. This is a non-majors biology course. I don't feel you'll find it too challenging. I hope that you will find it very interesting and feel it is rewarding to learn these topics. Chances are you're only taking this course because you care about the environment and you care about the kinds of issues that we will be bringing up. And you can reach me all term, although it is an online course. I'm accessible simply by setting up a meeting in Teams, and we can do a face-to-face talk. I can share my screen. You can share your screen when we use Teams, so it's a good system for us to have short meetings, usually for anything that can't just be handled over a quick email. And if you have questions on topics and you want more information, we can do tutoring by the Teams meetings. Notice then what my hours are. My office hours is what I ask that you do, and you just need to go into your Teams calendar in Microsoft and set your appointment up for those times. Send me an invite, and then I will either accept, or if I've got something else going on, I'll suggest another time to meet. Occasionally, someone needs to meet quicker and it doesn't fit in my office hours, and usually I can do that, or I can just answer questions over email. I try to be responsive to emails. I know in the beginning of the term there's going to be a lot of them, and then I'm probably not quite so responsive because it gets pretty overwhelming. I teach many classes and I have many, many students. So, that said, if you are going to email me, it's very important that I see not just your name, but also your course and what specific area you are talking about. If it is an exam, which one? If it's a quiz or a homework assignment, again, which one? Even though, for you it might have been the last one, because I have so many classes I'm juggling, I need to clarify that, and I'm just going to send you an email and ask that. So save the time, and let's just have that information specified in your email so I can try to answer as quickly as possible and streamline that whole process. Here is your textbook that you will need. It is the 6th edition, or not the 6th edition, this is the 6th extinction. And we'll talk about that in great deal and relate that to conservation and biodiversity simply by the topics that this Pulitzer Prize winning Elizabeth Colbert wrote. It's a great book, and it highlights key markers of conservation and biodiversity, and we'll stem from that and discuss a little bit more off of what she brings up per chapter. I think the chapters are easy reading. Exams are going to be proctored at the test centers. You will need to schedule those, and you can even do an offsite proctoring. There's a link there, which our test center will need to clear. It has all the criteria to be a test center, so do that early. And for this, you need to also schedule them early. You will already know the dates from this syllabus. Schedule as fast as they allow you to. You don't want to be in a position where you can't pick the time that's best suited to your schedule because they've got all the computers taken at that time. So you'll need to schedule and request in the time you want. That way you don't get stuck having to cancel another class or be late for work or something because you have to get your exam done that day. We don't want to have the excuse that they have no room for you because you have to schedule now and you don't need to wait to schedule them. The Packback is the system we're using for your discussions, which are in the form of questions. And you have links and tutorials on that, and it's part of this course, so you'll find it should be fairly easy to work with. Keep in mind, I need your true cat mail account for communications, not your Yahoo or Gmail. Here's your learning objectives laid out here in just simple context, going over species diversity, genetics, evolution, natural selection, and ecology, and a way to understand conservation biology. And those topics are interspersed throughout the chapters. Critical thinking and writing skills is a great way to understand the basis of science and hypothesis testing, and we'll be talking about that as well, looking at the ecological footprint in these conservation management strategies. What are the anthropogenic factors, which means human-driven factors towards habitat loss? And summarize environmental policy, so be literate in conservation policy is the goal, as well as knowing how complex biodiversity is and the ethical issues surrounding that. So those are our goals for this term. I have a simple laid out grading policy, how points are assigned, nothing is way different than anything else. Your homework assignments are based on that Packback. There will be a few case studies also. Everything is here in the syllabus on the last page. I'll show you that momentarily. All the due dates are there. Here's your instructions for Packback there. We have some exams that we must take, and they will be at the test center. Late exams are not allowed unless you have an excused absence. And you have a technology statement related to any online course. It is your responsibility. Please be sure if you have a concern with technology that you contact either Packback or Blackboard, which are the areas that you had the issue. And then you can notify me, particularly save a screenshot of a communication of what you're trying to resolve. Send it to me. That way, if you have to be late, by a cause outside of your control, that screenshot is documentation so I can allow you to make it up. And again, I most likely cannot fix any of those problems. I'm not that technologically savvy. It's up to you to be in attendance to the course. In other words, using good time management skills and being responsible to watch the deadlines. I may send you reminders over the weekend on what's coming up that week, but don't just rely upon that. Some weeks I may forget to do that, but it is up to you. I suggest all of your courses, add all those due dates per week onto one calendar. Then you can be sure you're juggling correctly all of the homework assignments according to what other responsibilities you have in life. Okay, so you can make appointments, you can work with the Packback team, you can actually form study buddies as well. I have a link in Blackboard called the discussion forum. It's not monitored by me. You can post a note there for other classmates asking for a study buddy. And we can do tutoring on Teams. Here's your usual policy regarding plagiarism, recording, student handbook, accessibility. I will usually get something from the accessibility team if you need extended hours. Very happy to do that. A little blurb on the successful learner. There's certain skills that make you better at online learning compared to what makes you really good as a classroom learner. Things like being self-motivated and self-disciplined and working independently. And even if you don't think you're a good online learner, you can become one. Just start looking at this particular skill set that you need to be working to enhance. because you'll be working in a virtual environment, and it won't be face to face. But I have everything well organized. It's paced throughout the term. Everything is written down on what you have to do. It tells you per day what we're covering, so what chapters to be reading and what's going to be due. And when you have occasional extra assignments, like here's a video you have to watch, the fungicide impact to bumblebees. Another one, biodiversity from ants to grizzly bears. So there are a number of things, and there's a couple of case studies as well. There's 2 case studies mixed in here. Here's the first one. I got to get a little blue highlight on that, I think, so it stands out better. At any rate, all of that is done during the course of the term, and if you have more questions on that, please let me know. And then I just simply want to take a quick look here in the course on Blackboard. Most everything I do is to put things into a content area. And besides the content area, then you will also have you'll have a Blackboard gradebook, and you'll also have that discussion forum for study buddies. So in content, you'll find your syllabus. And I have to still upload it. This is just the beginning of the term. I'm just setting it up. I have to get your syllabus there. So what we want to be sure that you do is know the syllabus might have to be updated during the course of the term. Maybe a date has to change for some reason. I always update and download a copy into Blackboard. You have lectures per chapter. They're a little short, half an hour to an hour maybe per chapter. And they're useful for you for keeping. Oops, here we got out of the class here for some reason. They're useful so that you end up kind of understanding what the author is saying, plus that little bit of extra that's not actually in the chapter, which has to do with those major conservation topics. Like the genetic diversity and invasive species, possibly, or international conservation. Not everything is in the book that you have been assigned. There's a little bit more concepts that we're covering. Here's the way to get into Backpack, but you probably is better just click on the assignment. Just go into them, and it tells you what to do. Like here, when we get into them, they'll have the topics listed, but also sometimes the videos will be in there as well. Well, it didn't. It just went directly into Packback for you to answer the questions, and then you accept and you start asking a question. I've already got the first question added that I put on there, and you can start doing answers to those. The Packback is going to explain to you how it is that you get a good score, because you are graded differently on the quality of your question. So you'll get that information from the Packback people. And so that's the important part for going into Blackboard and finding your syllabus and finding your materials to complete. And then also your gradebook will be in here. The grades you receive in Packback should automatically transfer over to the Blackboard gradebook. I would give it 24 hours before being concerned. Remember, just to keep screenshots to show me what you're looking at, so we can correct any deficiencies anywhere that might be occurring. And again, this is my first time teaching with the Packback format, so there might be a glitch that I need to understand a little better as well. Here's the discussion forum. Just click on that. I don't monitor this. Just make request of your classmates if they want to be a study buddy with you when you're getting ready for your exams. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to show you for now. Don't feel any hesitation to email for quick answers or set up an appointment for us to chat for maybe 10 minutes or so.